Welcome to the city of the unwritten. A city that's given so much. A city of people who aren't afraid to get their hands dirty. A city of makers, entrepreneurs, musicians, artists. A city of laughter, memories, and people who will welcome others in with a cup of heartwarming handmade coffee. A city of people, young and old, working together. People who explore, live, and grow together. But what makes this place special? Being listed year after year as one of the best places to raise a family. Maybe because we have a community recognized for its safe neighborhoods and revered for its low unemployment. A city where adventure is everywhere you look, where you can pioneer your own story. We've opened a new page to write on for the generations ahead. Welcome to Bismarck. Come write your story.
Happy 1 Million Cups Wednesday. My name is Tyler DeMars. I'm with the North Dakota Small Business Development Centers. I'll be your MC today. We got a random act of art, our first random act of art for the year. So Jimmy Adams is going to play us a song this morning, and a lot of us know Jimmy. The first time I met him was at a Makewell retreat at that Chateau de Prairie in southeast North Dakota, excuse me. We're all sitting around there. Jimmy pulled out his guitar, and we're sitting around a bonfire, and you played music for like 2 hours for us that night.
It was about 45 minutes.
It felt much longer.
Oh, it seemed a lot longer, huh? Thanks.
Did not
I
come
really
out as I
love
wanted
it.
to. But hey, Jimmy's going to start us off with a song here, so take it away, Jimmy.
Actually, I got two I'm going to
Great.
do for you. Here's one Randy Travis had out back in the 1990s. There is a point when you cannot walk away, when you have to stand up straight and tall and mean the words you say. There is a point you must decide just to do it 'cause it's right. That's when you become a point of light. There is a darkness that everyone must face, wants to take what's good and fair and lay it all to waste. And that darkness covers everything in sight till it meets a single point of light. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. There are heroes whose names we never hear, a dedicated army of quiet volunteers, reaching out to feed the hungry, reaching out to save the land, reaching out to help their fellow man. There are dreamers who are making dreams come true, taking time to teach the children there's nothing they can't do, giving shelter to the homeless, giving hope to those without. Isn't that what this land's all about? One by one, from the mountains to the sea, points of light calling out for you and me. All it takes is a point of light, a ray of hope in the darkest night. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. If you see what's wrong and you try to make it right, you will be a point of light. Thank you. Got one more recent. Luke Bryan did this about 5 years ago now, and first time I heard this song, I just really connected with it. I believe kids ought to stay kids as long as they can. Turn off the screen, go climb a tree, get dirt on their hands. I believe we gotta forgive and make amends. Nobody gets a second chance to make new old friends. I believe in working hard for what you've got, even if it don't add up to a hell of a lot. I believe most people are good and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under neon or stadium light. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe them streets of gold are worth the work. You wanna go, even if they were paved in dirt. I believe that youth is spent well on the young. Wisdom in your teens would be a lot less fun. I believe if you just go by the nightly news, your faith in all mankind would be the first thing you lose. I believe most people are good and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under neon or stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe that days go slow and years go fast. Every breath's a gift, the first one to the last. I believe most people are good and most mamas ought to qualify for sainthood. I believe most Friday nights look better under neon or stadium lights. I believe you love who you love, ain't nothing you should ever be ashamed of. I believe this world ain't half as bad as it looks. I believe most people are good. I believe most people are good. I believe most people are good. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jimmy. All right, one more time for Jimmy. That was awesome. That was awesome. All right. Well, welcome, everybody. We have a special program for you today, going off our usual path out of entrepreneurship into nonprofits this morning. So Giving Hearts Day is tomorrow, I believe, right? Yeah. Giving Hearts Day is tomorrow, so we got 3 nonprofits who are going to talk about their missions a little bit and discuss how a little bit about how Giving Hearts supports their missions. We have a lot this morning, so I'm hoping to save some time for Q&A. I'm going to go through these opening things really fast because of that. I got a face mic today. Lakin gave that to me. That was nice of her. Thank you. The problem is I don't know what to do with my hands, so there's going to be a lot of hand talking today, so just be ready for that. Any first-timers here this morning? Great. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Thank you for being here. Hope to see you back. First off, special thanks to our sponsors here. All of these organizations in town either support 1 Million Cups through cash or time or in-kind donations, so we are very appreciative of all of them. we have our National Day today. National Day is National Kite Flying Day. So I think we're going to have to talk to Marlo. It doesn't really fit in North Dakota in February. We might have to get this switched this summer. But if you are flying a kite today, I think we do have a pretty good breeze. Enjoy it. Just make sure you keep your kite out of any internationally restricted airspace, or don't cause any geopolitical tension with your kite flying. We've had some of that in the news lately, so be careful. All right, so what is 1 Million Cups? 1MC is a free weekly program that gives local businesses and community builders the opportunity to share their idea and engage their community for advice and feedback. Basically, we put a different entrepreneur, small business owner, nonprofit organization, event organizer, basically people doing interesting and good work in Bismarck, Mandan. Give them the stage for the morning, let them tell the story of the business or the event or the nonprofit they're working on. Then we do a little Q&A, trying to ask them curious, supportive, constructive questions while also connecting them to resources. So the idea is we want to change the face of our startup community by connecting local entrepreneurs over 1 million cups of coffee. All right, hopefully we'll have some time for Q&A at the end, so we'll have all our speakers talk today, and then we'll all get back on stage. Kayla will be our mic runner today, so please raise your hand when you have a question. She'll get the mic to you so you can ask that. All right, we have some community announcements. I think, Judy, are you up first?
Hi, I'm Judy.
Thank you, Judy. All right, 701 Fund. Anybody here from this event? Okay, well, I'll speak to this one then. Looks like we have a entrepreneurial ecosystem event coming up March 2nd at 2:30. 701 Fund, I believe, is a new venture capital fund, I want to say. So this is an event introducing that with some entrepreneurs and ecosystem folks there. March 2nd, 2:30 to 4:30 at the Butler Center. I believe that's on University of Mary campus. So I think you have to register for this one. So if you Google 701 Fund Startup Essentials, you should be able to find the registration for that. All right, We Rise. This looks like Kayla's.
I did. I rose. I am risen indeed. Okay. So I am currently the interim executive director for the North Dakota Women's Network, and every legislative session we make sure that we take the time to demystify what the heck is going on up there. So we have a 2-day event. So, okay, is it good? You can hear me and all my, okay, I feel like I'm yelling. So on Sunday we do kind of a training where we were like, hey, what is the legislator? And we go through all of the details. And then on Monday we actually go up to the Capitol and you get to try it all out. So it's free. And there's the website. You do have to register because we want to know like your t-shirt size and if you need like lodging or anything. But it's a pretty cool time to kind of figure out how to be a good citizen. Civic engagement. I have another one. Hey, if you're like that Capitol, sounds like a hostile environment. I can't handle that. Roller derby. It's actually, this is way easier for me. So we have started our new skater training. It actually started earlier this week, but if you're a little bit behind, don't worry. You send an email to that recruit email address. Hey, who's number 285 right there? Is that Rue Barbarian before she fell on her butt? Yes, it is. So I started as a new skater at one point, and it's a good time. We'll give you all the gear you need. There's a couple of different sessions, and then you can take the track later. So that's all I got.
Awesome. Thank you, Kayla. I like this one. All right, this is Lakin.
Hi, everybody. I've missed you. My name is Lake Anani. I'm with the North Dakota Women's Business Center, not to be confused with the North Dakota Women's Network. We are two separate entities. They focus on policy and advocacy. We focus on training and advocacy, but in a different way. We'll get into that later, but I wanted to tell you about the Women's Business Summit that's happening in May. So May 19th and 20th in Medora. We will be convening in the historic city for 2 days of intense training for women business owners. So all of the content is strategically curated for women in business. So if that's you or someone you know, you can either scan the QR code or visit ndwbc.com/summit. I'm winded, I haven't done this for a while. The full lineup of speakers is available. The full schedule is there. We've got 2 ticket options, single or double occupancy, so our rooms are included in the ticket price. So when you see them, don't panic. It is more expensive than the previous summit that you've been experiencing. So just know that we've changed our format, and it's going to be awesome. We've got national speakers coming in from organizations that represent us in Washington to talk about some advocacy work they're doing and how that relates to you. We've also got state leaders who are going to be joining us. There's some roundtable opportunities, so it's going to be a great event. I hope you can join.
Awesome. Thank you, Lagan. We missed you too, by the way, Lagan. We missed you too, by the way. Speaking of which, can we give a quick round of applause for our tech booth up there? We're looking at running a little short today, but we put the call out for help, and people showed up. So Tony, Jaden, Lagan, thank you for helping today. All right, I think without further ado, we will get to our main event today. So Giving Hearts Day is February 9th this year. This is the 16th year of Giving Hearts, so I think it started 2007 or 2008. 560 participating charities in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. In 2022, 41,000 donors and $26.6 million in gifts. Since 2008, $138 million in gifts from Giving Hearts Day. So this is a brand and an event and an initiative that's been going on for 15 years that has a real impact for our mission-driven organizations in North Dakota and Northwest Minnesota. So today we have 3 of those organizations represented here. We'll hear from Lene Hansen. She is the Executive Director of the Bismarck Art and Galleries Association, better known as BAGA. We have Hollis McIntosh Hyde from Northern Plains Dance. And then we have Zoe Wergelin-Manstrom from the American Red Cross of Western North Dakota. So Lene is going to kick us off here. Let's give her a warm welcome to the stage.
Good morning. I'm Lene Hansen, and I am the Executive Director of Bismarck Art and Galleries Association. I've been there since June. And so this is a great opportunity for me to just tell you a little bit about BAGA and what we have going on, so thanks for having me here today. We're a gallery, but we're also focused on trying to build an art community in Bismarck. We're a private nonprofit, and this is our mission statement here, but I've highlighted the verbs. I like to focus on the things that we should be doing. And so you can see stimulating the study of art, encouraging and expanding participation and appreciation, and preserving our regional cultural heritage are the things that we are focused on. I also like to speak a little bit about the why art. So, you know, a lot of times people will think art is just beautiful, it's something you buy and you hang on your walls, but I'm an artist, and for me, art is very therapeutic, and so before doing this presentation, I wanted to research a little bit about what art does for a community, and so I wanted to share that with you. First of all, it creates a culture. So if you see here, it says that research has shown that cities that emphasize art have more civic engagement, social engagement, and better child welfare, and lower poverty rates. And art also drives tourism. It has a wide appeal and turns any region into a choice tourism destination. Art also stimulates business, so arts organizations encourage innovation and add thousands of dollars to the local economy. And art also inspires young minds. Students who receive art education have higher GPAs, better test scores, and lower dropout rates. So you can see that art has huge value in a community. So I'd like to talk a little bit about who BAGA is. We're a very small organization. We only have 2 employees. That's me and Jan. There's 2 of us who work part-time. We have about 75 volunteers, though, so we couldn't do what we do without all of the people who pitch in and help. We have 350 members who, consist of artists, collectors, benefactors, and those who just love art. And we also have a 7-member board of directors, although we are looking for a couple of new board of directors at this point, so we will be reaching out to people about that. We are located at 422 East Front Avenue. Looks like my PowerPoint didn't work up there. We're in a historic building. It's a warehouse that used to be associated with the railroad. So we are tied to the old Fiesta Via building across the tracks. So we were their warehouse and a place to store everything. So it's a really beautiful building. You can see from all of the rafters. It's just a great space. And it's the same place where Bismarck Parks and Recs and the League of Cities is. And so the way that we stay afloat and make money is through membership. People pay to be a part of BAGA. We also take a 30% commission on all art sales. And so every month we put up 2 new exhibits in our gallery. And if we sell art, we take a small commission off of that. We also offer classes at the gallery where you can learn to paint, draw, do pastels. I'm going to be teaching a felting class coming up in March, so all kinds of things. And then we apply for local, state, and federal grants. We also accept donations on a regular basis. We have quite a bit of community support that way. We have a store in the gallery where we sell artwork from artists all across the region. We also do rentals. This is a photo of a rental in our gallery, so we've had lots of people rent the space for maybe a rehearsal dinner or a wedding or an anniversary party. And we also do a large number of fundraising events throughout the year. And those events range from, either paying for tickets to participate or buying things at a silent or a live auction. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the fundraising events. We do a flea market, a summer soiree, which is a summer party on a rooftop of a bank. We have the Capitol Affair, which I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a very large event that's held in August on the Capitol grounds. And there are generally about 120 booths there and 6,000 to 8,000 people attending that event. So it's a rather large event. As you can imagine, we need a lot of volunteers to help us with that. We also do a cookie walk in December, and then of course we have Giving Hearts Day in February. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about our need this year for Giving Hearts Day. We have a total goal of trying to raise $22,000. We've already, raised a small amount because All Smiles Dental is our $2,500 match sponsor, and MDU Resources has given a $2,500 donation. So we have a $17,000 amount remaining to raise on Thursday. And the way that you can give to BAGA on Thursday is just go to givingheartsday.org and search for Bismarck Art and Galleries Association. And then I have a little video I want to play just to tell you a little bit about why we're trying to raise money for new flooring at the gallery.
That looks like barbecue sauce. These look like red wine, don't you think? That one's a pretty big mishap. Who knows? Look how big that is. That is definitely wine. Anybody want to see what's under this carpet? That kind of looks like maybe chips and dip, wine, and barbecue sauce. In here we have a big wrinkle, and it's become a tripping hazard. Last but not least, this stain is the worst. It was a printing mishap that occurred many years ago, and right now we just try to keep it covered. It actually looks like a crime scene, doesn't it?
So as you can see, our carpeting was installed in 2006 at the gallery, and it's a very large space, and the carpeting has completely worn out. It's been cleaned every year, I think, since it's been installed, and it's just uncleanable anymore. So we're really hoping to put in like a vinyl flooring or something like that that would last a little bit longer and would sustain all the fun that we have at BAGA with every reception where people are spilling wine and their barbecue sauce. So last but not least, I just wanted to end with this, that, I know that new flooring doesn't really sound that, it's not like, starving children or puppies. I know that, but it still has value to us in the community. And the way I think of it is, new flooring would make BAGA more pleasing to look at, which makes BAGA a better place to showcase deserving artists' work, which helps artists sell their work and inspire creativity, which drives tourism and stimulates the economy, which makes people happy. So thank you for considering donating to BAGA on Giving Hearts Day.
Thank you. I feel like Lene took about half my presentation, so you'll just have to bear with me because Northern Plains Dance is obviously also an arts-based nonprofit. So I'm also really bad at PowerPoint, so bear with me here. That is not me. Zoe, do you want to go next? That's fine. There you go. Thanks. I matched this one a little bit better. Oh, sorry. Thank you guys for having me so much. I am not representing an arts organization, but I still hope that you think that we're worthwhile for your time here today. So, I am the new executive director for the Red Cross in Western North Dakota. I want to start off, quick show of hands. Who's heard of the Red Cross? Yeah, okay, everybody. That makes sense. We are the nation's best known and most trusted nonprofit. And we've been around since 1881. We were founded by Clara Barton in the aftermath of the Civil War. She was a nurse and established the Office of Missing Soldiers to help families locate their missing loved ones after the war. And that spirit of neutrality and humanity is still our core principles today. As you can see from our mission statement, we work to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. One of the things we're most recognizably known for is our assistance for major national natural disasters like hurricanes, floods, wildfires, that type of thing. And one of the ways that we're able to do that so well is because we have a nationwide network of local volunteers and strategically placed assets throughout the country ready to mobilize and swoop in essentially and be there. For example, Hurricane Ian that we just experienced this last fall, how Western North Dakota was involved. We had our ERV, that's our emergency response vehicle, this lovely piece of equipment behind me. We had one of our volunteers drive it down south in preparation for the storm. So as about Wednesday was hitting, we started making plans of how we're going to get our assets, our people there so that they could be there just in time. So he hung out around like the Georgia area, and the hurricane came in, then we were right there to help people as they're facing some of the worst times of their life. All right, another show of hands quick. Who's heard of the Red Cross doing anything here? Yes, a couple. I'm really happy about that because I think that a lot of people don't think of what we do locally, and that's what I'm trying to fix today. So I mentioned before that we have our group of local responders that respond to this type of thing, but they also respond to disasters here as well. One of the most common things that we respond to are local home fires, and we do that about once a week. So like 52 home fires in Western North Dakota. And I think of ourselves as really second responders. We come in after the first responders do and provide support, financial assistance, mental health services, care kits, and really anything that we can do to help these people cope with the experiences that they're facing. Interesting fact, over 40% of the nation, if they were facing a $400 unplanned expense, they wouldn't be able to handle it. So this is really important that we're able to do this and offer this assistance. But we do more than just disasters. Ooh, sorry, these were hidden. I had it more concise for you guys. We're still committed to serving the armed forces. So what you see here, the Red Cross has a federal charter that mandates and enables us to provide emergency communication services to active duty service members. So what this means is, say there's an airman who's stationed in the Middle East, and their mother faces some very serious illness, and they need to get home. The Red Cross steps in, verifies the emergency, contacts their commanding officer, and provides transportation home so that they can be there in time. And those really make for some of the most touching stories when you hear those happening in the community. We do other things for our service members as well. We offer workshops for, sorry, it seems like I'm constantly getting over a cold, but we offer coping with deployment workshops, workshops and support groups for family members of service members. We offer mental health services, medical support, and a slew of other things. I'm actually going up to the Air Force Base tomorrow to help with people that have been recently stationed at the Minot Air Force Base. All right, so those of you that raised your hand and knew about local activities in Western North Dakota, you've probably taken a swimming lesson or done the CPR class or something like that. And that's probably the most frequent direct experiences with the Red Cross. And that's great, because you guys are helping us with our mission of preventing emergencies, so thank you for that. But we do other things as well in our attempts to prevent emergencies. So we offer smoke alarm installations. So if you have a smoke alarm that's over 7 years old, or you are interested in having somebody come help you plan an evacuation route during a fire for your home, we'll have one of our volunteers schedule a time with you and they'll come to your home and do that. So it's really one of those things that we're really trying to connect and make a difference. You can do that at redcross.org. We also offer a slew of preparedness classes. We offer these both for adults and for students. We have free, and all of these classes are free except for the certifications like the lifeguard training and CPR classes. But we do hands-only CPR. We do Be Red Cross Ready, which trains for emergency preparedness in a variety of specific situations. And we do our youth programs. We have the Pedro program that's designed for kindergartners. It helps teach them coping mechanisms, so if they're faced with an emergency, you know, they have those mechanisms like breathing techniques to help them, just help them deal with the shock of what's happening in their lives, as well as general safety as well. And then we have programs for 3rd through 5th graders that essentially harnesses their innate desires to make plans and corral their family members. So we teach them how to make fire evacuation plans and practice fire drills with their family regularly. So it's kind of the best of both worlds there. We actually have this coming up March 7th and 9th. I'll get it on your community calendar, but at the library here in town at 3:45. But yeah, so that's kind of what we do in Western North Dakota. That is not by any means the entire picture of what the Red Cross does, because obviously I didn't talk about the blood services that we provide in the rest of the nation, or any of our international services as well. So a whole bunch of stuff going on. See, oh, sorry about that. So yeah, you've probably heard me mention volunteers a couple of times. Our workforce is 90% volunteer, and actually in Western North Dakota it's going to be even higher, because we also only have 2 people on staff, me and another person. And that's really important because it ensures that we're able to provide needed services right in the communities specifically. So we have, you know, our volunteers not just in Bismarck or not just in Minot, we have them spread out throughout Western North Dakota. And it also helps keep our overhead low. So we have 90 cents for every dollar donated is able to be spent directly on services to those in need. Yeah, so this is really, those are our 2 big needs, volunteers and donations. So obviously as you're looking at Giving Hearts Day, I would encourage you to get involved in one of those 2 ways. You can go on the Giving Hearts Day website, or if you're interested in volunteering, I will stick around for an awkwardly long amount of time in case you want to talk to me, or you can scan this QR code. Thanks.
All right, we'll try this again. Here we go. Unless someone else snuck some slides in here. Hey, there we go. My name is Hollis McIntosh Hyde, and I am the director of Northern Plains Dance in Bismarck. We have been involved in the community since 1998, and I have been the woman in charge for 15 years. Yeah. And, you know, like Lene was saying, thank you for the break, by the way, Zoe, you know, the arts can be kind of a tough ask. mask, right? It's not homelessness or hunger, but it does so much for our community and for our young people that I really want you to think about the arts as a viable way to give money. So our mission is to inspire the appreciation of dance through artistic excellence and to enrich the cultural landscape of our community. Blech. Right? That is like the most tax form thing you've ever heard. Yeah, so I just want to talk you through something a little bit more important, which is our guiding principles. Now, every decision that we make, every program that we start, every partnership or collaboration we enter into, we run through 5 things. The first one, and I think everyone here would agree, is that strong communities are built around the arts. Number 2, dance teaches discipline, imagination, respect, self-esteem, and teamwork, making our students better citizens. So it's more than just learning the 5 positions of the feet or the arms, but instead we're building into kids these ideas that make them better citizens of the world long term. Dance should be presented in a non-competitive and non-threatening manner. And that is really important to us because it is my firm belief that the arts are not competitive. Yes, it has to do with internal expression. It has to do with bettering yourself, not bettering the person next to you. And that is a really important thing for us. And when it comes to non-threatening, what that means is we don't push performance on children or adults, right? We allow people to come to those sort of activities when they're ready. Because that can be really scary. I'm shaking up here right now. Yeah, so we don't want to force people to do things that they don't want to do. It's our duty at Northern Plains Dance to set high standards, to encourage self-improvement and provide positive role models. And we do that through hiring adults who have degrees in dance. So we're not asking high school students to teach high school students. Everyone is on our staff has at least a bachelor's in a dance-focused area. And most importantly, that dance is for everybody. It's for every age, it's for every size, and it's for every background. So how many of you have heard of the Nutcracker? Okay. How many of you have been to the Nutcracker? You've gotten tickets in the last couple of years? Good for you. We've had 2 years of completely sold out shows, and that is definitely the thing that we are known most for. We do 4 main stage performances every year. We have one coming up at the end of the month, which is fabulous. I'll come back and talk about that probably in a few weeks. We do a story ballet, a fairy tale every May, and then we have an outside event in August every year. So we're pretty well known in the community for that. We're also fairly well known for our classes. We offer traditional classical training in ballet, tap, jazz, modern, contemporary, hip-hop, creative movement, kinder music, mommy and me, you name it, we can do it. Yes, we also offer wedding dance workshops and social dancing. We're teaching a young lady for her quinceañera currently. It's super fun. But what really drives us is our community engagement efforts. Now, this is just a little smattering of what we do. We actually run 17 community engagement programs all year round. And these are the things that we do kind of quietly in the background to ensure that dance is for everybody. Adaptive Dance is a program that we started recently with a Bush Foundation grant that brings dance to kids with physical or mental disabilities. And it's really kind of an incredible program that we've started. Aging Gracefully and Dance for Parkinson's, there's been a ton of studies done that dance is really good for people suffering from Parkinson's symptoms, that the mix of movement and music actually makes their symptoms subside slightly and they're able to move more easily. Aging Gracefully is just a mobility class for senior citizens. Ballet in a Box is something that we do where we literally take a box of props to like the library or something like that, and we actually create an entire performance out of a box. We believe very strongly in community partnerships. NPD in the Classroom, where our teaching artists go into public school classrooms to teach academic concepts, but using movement as the medium. On the Go brings kinder music and dance into daycare centers and kind of bridges that gap for people who might have transportation issues. We have 5 scholarship programs, and I'll touch back on those in a second. Sensory-friendly performances we started last year. They are shortened versions of our spring ballet that are presented for kids who might not be able to sit in a darkened theater and deal with all the sensory differences there. STEPS is when we go into after-school programs, either through Parks and Rec or through CREA. And then student matinees, we present the Nutcracker to every single second grader in Bismarck, Mandan, and more. Every year, you have never been in a theater with that much energy. Second graders before lunch, whew. After lunch, they're very quiet, kind of scary. I just want to circle back to those scholarship programs. So we have scholarships to many of the programs that are also listed up here. So if we have a kiddo who wants to be part of adaptive dance and finances are an issue, we have a scholarship program dedicated to that. Same for our Aging Gracefully and Dance for Parkinson's. We have scholarships to our summer programs, we have diversity scholarships, boys scholarships, and then tuition-based need scholarships. So we reach about 20,000 people just through our community engagement programs each year. That is not counting any of our public audiences or anyone who engages with us on classes. So circling back to these scholarship programs, this is kind of our big ask for Giving Hearts Day. We are at 738% of our budget, over budget. We have budgeted $4,000 to give away in scholarships, but our asks in the past couple of years have gone through the roof. So this is from one of our students who said, I love that the teachers are really hands-on and they show us how to do everything. I'm dyslexic and school is really hard for me. When I'm at dance, it feels like I have a space where I can learn without dyslexia, which is amazing. Dance is everything to me. And that kid is on a 95% scholarship, which Northern Plains Dance can't actually fund. But clearly, this is a child who needs this outlet, who needs the opportunity to feel normal and successful. Now, this child is 13 at this point. There was a point in my life, this one makes me cry, where I had a chronic pain in my hands and feet, and it got bad enough I couldn't walk for 6 months. When I was able to come back to dance, it was really hard because I felt like I was so behind. With the help of my teachers, I was able to get back and feel better than ever. I'm really grateful for my scholarship because without it, I wouldn't be able to be in dance this year. I love being at the studio because it feels like a second home and that I have a whole second family there who loves me. Sorry, Kate. Now that child has not only come back to her standard, but she has actually achieved kind of the biggest thing in ballet, and she did get her point shoes, and so we're really, really proud. Now, not all scholarships have that heavy of a story. Those are two particularly heavy, but I'd like to share with you this sweet one. I'm 5. I love my teacher, Miss Rosari, and I love Miss Catherine. She's so nice. I love dancing, and I love the studio. I love Miss Hollis. She's so nice to me, and I want to invite her to my birthday. There you go. So, it really comes down to how can I make a difference? Now, obviously, we have these 3 silos that we work in, and 2 of them do bring in income. But like I said, it's not enough, right? We are seeing increased need in the community from kids who were isolated by the pandemic, right, that are having physical issues. And we need to rebuild our scholarship fund. Now, I'm going to be totally honest. Our goal is $21,000. We have an internal challenge, and we have an external challenge. So our internal challenge, we need lights in our parking lot, and there's no electricity. So to our parents, we've asked them to try to raise $11,000 to get solar parking lots, or parking lights for the lot. It is, of course, a safety issue. If anybody's not seen our new building, it's fabulous, but it is on the end of Front Street, and it's kind of an isolated part of downtown. You can imagine if you are a teenager who is driving to dance that can be a little intimidating to get to your car when your classes are over and it's dark out. If you're a mom with little kids, same thing. So we're really pushing to raise enough money to get solar parking lot lights. But externally, we are really focusing on our scholarship fund. Like I said, we are 738% over our budget, which is painful but true, and Northern Plains Dance is committing to meet kids with whatever they need. So, whatever you decide to give, right, you can make a huge difference. So if you decide to give $15, and that would be matched, of course, by our generous donors, Bismarck Heating and Air, Ellsbury and Shively, Rock 30 Games, and the title team. you know, $15 is what it costs to put a pair of shoes on a pair of feet, right? So we've got a scholarship kid. You could alleviate even more by buying them shoes. $100 would fund someone with disabilities to enroll in 1 year of our classes. And you know, if you decided to go all the way up to the top, for $1,000, we are able to offer an entire year's worth of Dance for Parkinson's workshops free of charge to the people who need that service. So I invite you to think about us on Giving Hearts Day. Northern Plains Dance is charity number 5. I don't know how we got that lucky, but we are. You can search Northern Plains Dance, and we are really excited for tomorrow. I think that's it.
May and Zoe, can I join us on stage? We'll Q&A. All right, so if you have a question, Kayla is our mic runner today. Thank you, Kayla. Raise your hand, and she'll get the big mic in your hand. Thank you, Zoe. Yeah. Or thank you, Hollis. All right, little question to answer. So I'll get us started here. So yeah, let's just the ask. Maybe an obvious question, but I'm not as familiar with Giving Hearts Day as I should be probably. Like, how do I contribute, whether it's financially or through time or in-kind donations? With each of your organizations, do you have to go to like givingheartsday.com? Do you go to your individual websites? How does that work? Oh, I suppose you need that.
So there we go. It's givingheartsday.org, and all funds that are given through that website can be contributed, can be I forgot the word. Attributed, thank you, to Giving Hearts Day. So they're really driving traffic to that website. Of course, if you make the mistake and donate on one of our websites, we'll forgive you. But in order to be included in that like 138 million, it is givingheartsday.org. The drive is gifts of $10 or more. And they really encourage you to find a bunch of charities to give to. I know that there's one gentleman in the region who literally just gives $10 to every single person, every single group enrolled in Giving Hearts Day, somewhere on the eastern half of the state. But so, you know, we're encouraging people to do stuff like that, but it's a $10 minimum ask.
Okay, gotcha. Question from Kate here.
Got it. From an organizational standpoint, what does it, I mean, it's kind of a process to get involved in Giving Hearts Day, so what all, like how early do you start with this? What all do you have to do to be kind of an official Giving Hearts Day charity?
I did not do the paperwork. East North Dakota did. But from what I remember from previous organizations is it starts like August, September, but
Yeah, actually, I start thinking about it in like June, July, just thinking about what the, you know, what you want to fundraise for. They recommend that you have a project. It just makes it easier for people to focus on why they should give to that organization. So you think about a project, and then you start thinking about, you know, what kind of marketing plan you're going to put together, and you've got to update the portal, and you've got to make sure your portal is paid for. Everything has to go through the Dakota Medical Foundation portal site. So there's a lot of work to be done in advance.
you also need to secure the match ahead of time. That's a big part.
Beginning of your project, all the wine and barbecue sauce at BAGA. I got to get to some BAGA events. It sounds like that's probably what my carpet's going to look like after the Chiefs win the Super Bowl on Sunday. But question there, Joe.
Good morning. Oh, okay. Now it works really well. Thanks for being here. Each one of you provide a vital need to the community. So, hopefully those that have the ability to provide some funding are able to do so. Putting on my Mandan City Commission hat, I do want to thank all of you for what you do for our region and the services that are provided. But I do want to say, in particular with the Red Cross, we had a chance to talk earlier, that local impact. We had incidents over the last few years with apartment fires in Mandan, and you say that you're kind of the second response. The speed that your team had shown up and responded, I'd say that you're probably not second, but probably somewhere between first and second. That the ability, not only having it once but twice, getting the gym at the middle school set up, and having that immediate response for you know, that emergency shelter and food and water and things that were provided for our residents, you know, we appreciate that very much. That's just things that, you know, as a city, we need that help. We need that partnership in order to be able to provide these services. And I just wanted to share that, because you guys were the linchpin between the incident and then having our Be a Good Neighbor program find a place for those residents to be put up in the long term. So thank you for that. So just a comment and a testimonial more than a question.
I'm responding to that quickly. Thank you so much for bringing that to everyone's attention here. But really, it's a two-way street. So I'm so happy that we were able to, you know, be an efficient and effective community partner. But really, you know, having those connections to the city commission and being able to work with emergency managers to create those plans in advance of an emergency really makes a difference in us being able to do those things in real time. I mean, because if you're not able to set up a shelter until, you know, 2 days later, that's too late. So that really does make a difference, and I appreciate it. I appreciate your involvement. So.
Yeah, looking at mission-driven organizations, it kind of falls in the gaps in the free market, right? Like these are services and things we know have value, but there really isn't a free market opportunity for them to connect with a direct customer, right? So it's interesting that with the arts and with the Red Cross work, you're almost on opposite ends of the spectrum there, right? The Red Cross work is kind of like a safety net, a social safety net we have, for lack of a better term, at the bottom of our economy, right? Where the arts typically come up, I mean, they can come from dire situations too. Of course, some of the best art ever comes from very dire situations, but it's a value add and really where we innovate and get more imaginative. But with these services, with these value-adding things we're doing, oftentimes we can't measure, it's difficult to measure impact, right? And especially to tie that to your funders, to your kind of two customer groups, those you're providing services to and those that are funding you. So can you talk, each of you talk a little bit about how you measure impact quantitatively, if there is a way to do that?
So the Red Cross has a couple of different ways. I mean, obviously, we look at the number of people that we're able to help and the number of cases. So locally, that might be the number of home fires that we responded to, or you know, the number of different military cases, essentially, that we're able to provide, and that type of thing. So that becomes more straightforward in that way. But that's always something that we're looking to try to broaden our impact, because it's the more that people are aware of us, the more that we're better able to provide our services, because we are a voluntary service as well. So it's, you know, if there's a fire at the house down the street, you know, we won't show up. We don't force our services. We have to be called. A lot of times it's through our relationships with the first responders to say, hey, do you want us to call the Red Cross for you? And then we'll step in and that type of thing. But to what you were saying, Tyler, I think, you know, we're definitely, you know, if you look at like the hierarchy of needs, the Red Cross is there to be, you know, the safety net and provide those, you know, essential basic needs. And I think, to the arts credits, I think you guys are really kind of at the top of that and are really, you know, really what makes the difference in a society, from just being basic needs and kind of being able to elevate our communities. Okay, I like you guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
That is a solid testimonial. I'm going to borrow that. I like you guys. You know, we obviously count the number of people impacted, right? But like Tyler was saying, it's really tough with the arts because there's a difference between exposure and impact. And while we, you know, can't say, well, we positively impacted, you know, 20,000 people, because the word positive, who knows? Right? Like maybe someone looked at that and said, nope, hockey person forever, right? That's fine. But, you know, for us, we struggle, right? Because you can't prove a negative, right? Like you take that sweet girl who suffers from dyslexia, and like if she didn't have dance, which doesn't require her to use that skill, right? And if she didn't have the confidence build that she is still able to learn and she is still able to keep up, right? And she's being told you're completely normal, not you have to, you know, work extra hard because you're not. What would happen to her, right? And I think that that's kind of one of the things that we talk about a lot is, well, we can't like say, well, we, you know, change the lives of this many people. The thing is, we know that for every story that is told, there's dozens that aren't, right? That I have a student who isn't a scholarship student necessarily, but she is going through a really tough time with her family. And the outlet that she has and the safe space that we provide by just doing what we do is probably invaluable to her. And so, we keep the hard numbers. We know exactly how many people see Nutcracker, how many people we impact with our outreach programs. But, we definitely do qualitative instead of quantitative measures.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely therapeutic services that aren't covered by most insurance carriers. Yeah.
And I would say for us, we measure obviously the number of people who come in and the number of artworks sold, but I think what I've noticed just in the few months that I've been there is just the joy on people's faces as they connect with a piece of art. They see something that they love, or they meet an artist and connect with the artist, and then when you talk to artists, I was a struggling artist straight out of college, and really had to abandon art for a while in order to survive and just have an income. And so when you talk to artists and they've sold a piece, it's just really heartwarming to see that you've helped somebody, connect that way through art.
Gotcha. I've lost our orange mug.
So you guys talked just a little bit about your match donations, and you have to go out and solicit those donors. Like, what is that process? Do you get a list of people that have expressed interest, or is that just something you have to do on your own, or how does that work?
For Bismarck Art and Galleries Association, I just started thinking about organizations in the community who I know love and support art, and the first one that came to mind to me was All Smiles Dental, because they're my dentist, and I go there, and they have art in every single room, and it's all local produced art. It's not, it's not mass produced, it's not purchased, as a print. It's all art by Medora Fry. And so I just reached out to them and said, hey, you guys love art, and we're an art organization. Would you be our match donor? And they said yes, so it was awesome.
Yeah, for the Red Cross, it's reaching out to our existing partners, usually throughout the community. It's typically a business rather than an individual, but it could be any of the above, and it could also be an opportunity to engage if you have a potential partner that's kind of been on the fence. This would be an opportunity to say, hey, well, what about a match? But yeah, it's definitely on your own to come up with that.
For us, we actually have found some success in using our board members' businesses. The individuals are on our board because they connect to our mission, but you wouldn't think that Rock 30 Games and Ballet had much of a connection. Except they do, right? Like, their bookkeeper has been on our board for 9 years. And so we've actually found Giving Hearts Day to be a really nice bridge between our board members and the people they work for. In the past, we have had some individual donors who have asked to be silent because they really believed in whatever the project was that we were raising money for.
Gotcha. I think that brings us to our last question of the morning. So, Kayla, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure thing. Well, first, Hollis, we were admiring your thematic elbows, your aortic elbows.
I refuse to wear red, so this is my one concession.
Yeah, it works. It works. So we ask the same last question every week, but we would like to know, what can the BizMan community do for each of you, not only on Giving Hearts Day, but every day? What can we do?
Coffee, Kate. When it comes to Northern Plains dance, I really think that the community just needs to try it out. Again, going back to that guiding principle that dance is for everybody, we have a performance coming up at the end of February, which is it's dancers and local artists combine into a really spectacular event called Dance Plus, meaning dance plus art, dance plus music. It is absolutely spectacular. It is not a fairy tale kids show, and we really want the community to realize that what my young artists are producing is professional level art. Just because they're kids doesn't mean it's for kids. And I would really encourage you to look at Northern Plains Dance for, I hesitate to use the phrase adult entertainment for obvious reasons, but, it is not just meant for children. We do offer things like wedding dance workshops and stuff like that. We do a lot of work with adults, but I would encourage you guys to buy tickets and try us out.
I've actually done the wedding dance workshop. It was fun, yeah. I don't remember a single thing. But yeah, so the Red Cross, we need a lot of things. So first of all is my mission coming on as the new executive director is to really spread the word because I really want people to know that the Red Cross is here to help. So if you ever have like a lull in conversation, no matter what it is, a dining, maybe like a dining party, those types of things, and there's a lull, be like, hey, did you know the Red Cross is in West North Dakota? That'd be great. But also specifically volunteers. We actually only have 40 active volunteers for the entire West North Dakota. So that's kind of like the Bismarck-Minot line and all the way west. They are incredibly active, and I'm so super proud of them because they're just fantastic. But we need more of them. So we need more people that are willing to be disaster responders that can stop by and help after house fire. It's actually not like as complicated as you think. It kind of just relies on you being a human and having human emotions and that type of thing. And we offer a variety of training for all of the different positions that we have available to volunteer on. The preparedness trainings is also a really big thing. So if you're interested in being involved in the community and want to work with kids, you can help us teach those classes. That's a really positive thing that I'm trying to encourage. I would really like for every kindergartner in 3rd through 5th grade in West North Dakota to get these types of trainings because I think it's just, really beneficial to the community because if we can make it easier on a kid that's actually facing a home fire and have those skills available so that they're not as traumatized, absolutely, let's do it. Let's see what we can do to make that happen. So those types of volunteer opportunities and everything in between. There's really a huge gamut. If you have a skill of any type or an even not skilled and want to learn something, come talk to me. I don't even know how many different volunteer positions we have. It's in the hundreds. There's even virtual things. So that's a big need. That's probably my biggest need, but also financial support is obviously a big thing for all of the Red Cross.
And I think for BAGA, we are always, looking for people to come over to the gallery and just view the art. It means a lot to us. We have a reception every month for the new artwork that's hanging up, and we invite people to come and, just see the art and connect with the artists. We're also in the process of revamping our whole website and going to be potentially painting a mural or two in the gallery and sort of refreshing our whole brand and look. So I actually am reaching out to a few people now, trying to get some help writing copy and, just giving the whole brand a refresh. And so we're looking for volunteers that have skills in those areas. But we need donations and we need volunteers. That's what I think a lot of nonprofits need, and we're no different.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, let's hear it for Lene, Zoe, and Hollis. Ladies, thank you for the good work you do and that your organizations do, and thank you for taking time with us this morning. It was great to learn a little more about you. So, absolutely. So, that is close to all we have for you this morning, but might need a little help with the clicker. There we go. Oh, there's our last question. Good. Check that. So next week we have Haven Hills Foster Care Community will be on stage. The week after that, we're talking about the Great American Bike Race through the Sanford Foundation, and then the Gateway to Science coming up after that. They have some exciting stuff with their new facility right next to the BSC campus. So that's what our schedule looks like for the next 3 weeks. If you or anyone you know is interested in presenting and getting on stage here at 1 Million Cups, please send them to 1millioncups.com/bizman. They can apply to present there, and that's how they get in our queue. So one more time, let's hear it for our speakers. Thank you so much, guys. And that is all we have for you this morning. Have a great rest of the week, and go Chiefs. Oh, geez, I'm losing things.